be connected. I'll look forward in a minute, but go ahead and start. You're on.
Hello, 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 Kansas City and the world. You are tuned in to Kansas City's global community radio station, KUAW, which stands for Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom. This is Jessica Lynn, and you're tuned in to Jessica Lynn Speaks Life, and I am so excited today to have these beautiful powerhouses at the table of Purpose, Passion, and Power. We're going to be talking about the Societas Docta Incorporated. We're going to be talking about their journeys. We're going to be talking about good stuff. I want to say, first off, Happy Women's History Month.
Yes, that's
Woo
right.
woo!
Same to you. Yeah.
Yes, baby, we are here.
Yeah.
You know, today at church, one of the beautiful young ladies, she gave a liturgical dance to the song "Thank You for My Life." Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
By Smokey Norfolk.
Yes.
If you have not listened to it, pull it up. Smokey Norfolk, "Thank You for My Life." It's an older song. It's been out a few years, but I absolutely, I mean, it set the tone for my day. Thank you for my life. I've been through it all. Some things may not have turned out like I thought they should have, or like I hoped that they would have, but I'm still yet here. Thank you for my life.
Yes.
So thank you for my life. Listen, if you are out there tuned in and you are struggling, you are depressed, you going through something, you say they don't know, they got it all together. No, ma'am, there is a journey, and we're going to be talking about journeys, right?
Okay.
And so I am excited to introduce to you, Dr. Tamara Callahan,
That's right.
and we have Dr. Mary McConell, and we're just going to jump right in. These ladies are powerful women that are members of Societas Docta Incorporated. And why am I saying it? I'm going to just let y'all say it, right? Let me just let y'all say it. So, Dr. Mary, we'll start with you. Just tell us a little bit about who you are, and then we'll jump over to you, Dr. Tamara.
Okay.
And is it okay if I call you
That
Dr.
is
Tamara, Dr.
absolutely
Mary?
okay.
Okay,
That's fine.
good. Okay, cool. All right. So, Dr. Mary, tell me your name, your title. What do you do in addition to Societas Docta?
Okay, first of all, Jessica, thank you. I want to thank you for giving us this opportunity
You are
to
welcome.
be on your show. It is an honor.
Thank you.
Again, my name is Mary McConnell, and I am an educator. And I'm an educator. I'm a educator consultant, and I work with school districts in Missouri. My title, I guess you would say, would be improvement consultant, but I enjoy what I do because I'm working with teachers and really basically the outcome to improve the educational outcome for all students.
I love it. Well, if you don't know by now, you know that I'm an education advocate, so you got me jumping over here. Yeah. All right, Dr. Tamara, tell us a little bit about you.
I echo Dr. Mary's sentiments of you just having us on today. It is such a pleasure. You know, when we were extended the invitation, I immediately went to some of your YouTubes, and I said, this woman is masterful at what she does. And so maybe start by just giving you some kudos on doing such a fabulous job. The range of folks that you take time to get to know speaks a lot about you and the work that you do.
Thank you so much.
Your passion too.
Yes,
Right.
yes. Well, the
Right.
show used to be called my beautiful homage to my beautiful dear sister Michelle Gines. The show when we first started 7 years ago this year was Purpose, Passion, and Power with Jessica Lynn and Michelle Latrice.
Okay.
And then she had to go on and do some other things, and so it became just me, and it was Purpose, Passion, and Power with Jessica Lynn. And in 2021, I launched my speaking career, and so I changed it to just Jessica Lynn Speaks Life. But we are at the table of Purpose, Passion, and Power.
Okay.
All
Where it all
right?
started.
Where it all started. So we
Yeah.
are at the table of Purpose, Passion, and Power. And I just happen to believe that all of us have a purpose.
Yeah.
I do too.
I do.
Yes.
I believe that. And I've had many people say, well, I don't know what my purpose is. And I would say, you know, your purpose is directly connected to what you're passionate about. And if you put those two together, it equals power.
Yeah, and I would just add to that, to that power, that there's an arrangement of divine connections that happen that help to usher you into that power. And I always like to tell the story whenever I'm in the same room with Dr. Mary of how we were divinely connected long before
tell
we
us
even
about it.
knew who we were. And so, like Dr. Mary, in my work, I'm a consultant. I work primarily with school leaders in the KC region. And but years ago, Dr. Mary and I were attending a National Baptist Convention. I didn't know her. She didn't know me. She had written a book that was used in the curriculum for the published through the Sunday School Publishing Board, and I was standing in line waiting to get my book signed by Dr. Mary. And that was probably, I want to say that was 2014, maybe even earlier than that. I could not remember the date, but I remember the encounter. Because the way that she is so gracious and kind now, she was in that long line of people.
Wow.
And so when I got up to her, I, extended my book, and she asked me my name, and she gave me, wrote something in there, and I still have that book. I showed it to her not too long ago. Where were we when I showed you that book? Remember, and you were going to be the guest speaker, I think, for a Women's Day program at our church. Okay. And I reminded you of that encounter. Well, years, fast forward, 2018, my father passed, which brought my husband and I back to the Kansas City area. I had left Kansas City, born and raised here, but I had left Kansas City in 1987 and did not return.
That's a great year
until
now. That's a great year. Pause on that year. 87. Woo, woo.
Okay.
That's my East High graduation year, honey.
Okay.
Yes. Ooh, the yellow gets me going. We used to say 87 all the way to heaven.
Oh, wow. Well, I was all the way to Florida. That's
wow. Well, that was a beautiful place to go.
Yeah, beautiful place. But anyway, long story short, 2019, I'm looking for employment and newly relocated. And so I have this interview at the RPDC. And it was going to be some consultant work. And that was right up the alley what I wanted to do. And I walk in for the interview, and the interview chair is Dr. Merritt. And so there's about 8 of us, about 8 people that were in that interview, I think. And so you know how you have the little tent cards placed and the names, and I'm going around, hi, how are you? Yeah, hi, how are you? And I'm seeing the names, and I'm like, Dr. Mary McConell. And it stuck, and I had to come back to it and say, I know you. So I'm in the interview, and I'm just fanning out in my interview because I remembered that encounter. And I just count that such a joy. I think that was just such a beautiful way that the Lord, connected us.
Yes.
In that season, and has continued to connect us. She has invited me into SDI. And I'm now a member because of her gracious invitation and the acceptance of the membership. So just wanted to share that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is just amazing. I love the way, like you said, God put this divine connection. And wow.
Right. And things happen for a purpose, and things happen for a reason.
Absolutely.
And I don't think it was accidental. I think it was all in God's will.
Pieces of the puzzle is what I call it. He puts the right
pieces at
the right time.
The
So
right
did you get the
people.
job?
I did get the job.
Of course she got the job. We want to know how the story ended.
I did get the job. And so the director or someone says, why should we hire you for this job? I said, because I'm fabulous.
Oh, I love it.
But then I clarified,
I love it.
that the work that I've done leading up to this time, I think has prepared me well for the job. But I just think that whole thing, the way that I had the whisper to even check the site, and that the day that I applied was the closing day for the application. I mean, just everything
fell into place.
Everything fell into place. And I know that was divine intervention. That's beautiful. And just us being back in Kansas City, Second Baptist Church, is my home church. I was born and raised in that church. And when I left Kansas City in 1987, I never would have imagined that my husband and I would have returned as pastor and first lady of that church. So many of the elders there were my first teachers, my Bible study teachers, my Sunday school teachers, my choir directors, and they're now in their 80s and 90s.
Wow.
But I'm able to, interact with them and help help the next generations kind of grow in that very same space that I grew up in.
We just never know
never
where
know.
our journey may lead us.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
This little bitty girl that they saw born into the church is now the first lady.
Absolutely.
Take the limits off. Just completely take the limits off.
And so many of them, me included, would have thought that. You know, I always had a love for the church and a love for the people there. But, you know, and so as we were talking about my little granddaughter and how we were wrestling with her in church today, your gentle reminder, let that baby do what she wants to do. We never know who God is shaping them to be, you know.
That's so right.
So that was a beautiful reminder. But yeah.
Wow. What amazing story. Amazing journey. Amazing journey.
Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. Wow, Dr. Mary.
Yes, wow.
We had a little time to chat, and a part of your story just keeps resonating with me, with you when you were working on your doctorate as a single mother.
Oh, I'm not single mother. I'm married.
You were married.
Yes, I'm married.
But your husband
Happily
traveled,
married. Yes.
happily married. Correction.
Yes.
Stand by your man.
That's right. And how many years? Throw it out there.
Right. Tell us.
50.
That's
50.
right.
Woo! I'm halfway, a little bit over half. Woo.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what I meant to say, correction, was you were working on your doctorate and your husband traveled and worked a lot or what
Yes.
have you, and you had 4 babies.
4 children.
4 children.
4 children. Yes.
Wow. Talk to us a little bit about that journey.
It was a journey, and it wasn't easy. And as I look back now, I'm glad that I did continue on with that journey. Having 4 children and schooling and their activities, and then also when you're working on an advanced degree, when you work on your doctorate, it is very, very demanding, very, very time consuming. The bar is really high as far as expectations and work. And there were many, many times that, I was just saying, can I continue to do this? Or should I be doing this? But through the grace of God, you know, I was able to go ahead and continue. And I know that I would not have made it and have been as successful in the program without God's help throughout the entire process. Because there were many times when I was just kind of at that edge where it was just so overwhelming that, you know, I was thinking, well, maybe I should do this later, or maybe why am I doing this? And that those thoughts, they do come to you when you feel closed in or when you feel the pressure,
the deadlines,
on, the deadlines and the work,
the writing,
because it's a lot of work. It's very intensive work, but I'm glad that I continued with that journey. It takes a lot of prayer, perseverance, organization, you know, commitment, and then also support. And that's what I like about our organization, Societas Docta. And Dr. Tamara would talk about the mentees, that we encourage and that we support other ladies that are on this journey. And when I was on the journey, I really didn't have the support that we are offering. I wish I did have the support, but the support wasn't there. So we do like to really, really extend ourselves and encourage, because sometimes just that encouragement, you know, to keep going, you can make it, you can do it.
Absolutely.
And then telling your story and then your struggle as you go through or as you went through in getting your doctorate degree.
Yeah.
But I'm glad and I'm thankful that I did keep on the journey
Yes.
and not stop, because there will be difficulties, you know, obstacles, and it may not just be working on an advanced degree. It could be other things in your life that you will have some difficulty. But just, you know, hold on, you know, persevere.
Right.
Don't give up, you know, just keep going, just keep going.
I love it.
Yeah. Perseverance, I think, is the word. You know, whenever we're talking about seeking advanced degrees, because it really is a marathon. There are some things that you can do, you know, in courses because, you know, most people will have experienced some level of success when they're taking a college course. I think the thing that makes the doctorate so much challenging is that it intentionally is different from any of the other schooling that you've had up until that point, regardless of the discipline. There's an additional level of rigor that you must, consider, and trying to balance that. I remember having a breakdown one time in the driveway because I was like, Lord, do I have ingredients to make a meatloaf? Because I'm walking to this house and these boys are going to be hungry. And I'm so tired and I have a deadline tonight, and please, Lord, just let me have all the ingredients for the meatloaf. And without fail, you go in and somehow you find a way, you make a way, and you're able to pull it together. But we've been talking about purpose, and I know purpose and passion for myself really is in mentoring. And when I stepped into this organization, I didn't know really where I was going to fit. Everybody kind of finds a niche, but it just so happened that our Dr. Jennifer was elected as the superintendent of Kansas City Public Schools. And so that was a position she was serving in, and understandably, she is incredibly busy now. And so I was able to just kind of step in and support her, there, and just absolutely love it. And I find when I am reflective over my life, mentoring is really a passion of mine. And I was mentored during my doctorate program, would not have made it without two Latina sisters who, from day one, we signed a pact. We're going to finish in 3 years. We're going to support each other. There is no quitting. There is no failure. It's okay to call me at midnight. And then I had my dissertation chair was a woman of color from Persia. And we all just rallied around each other. And I know without a shadow of a doubt, without that support, I would not have been able to reach those goals. So it's so important because most who start entering that doctoral work, well, many should I say, are in that juggling act of balancing family and career and community and church, everything else. And how do you get that done? And so just having that voice. I remember sending my work to right at the end, and dissertation was done, study was done, and I could not get that table of contents to line up and the way it was supposed to line up.
The margin wasn't right.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They give you these guidelines. And so I called her and I said, I've just quit it. I just can't do it. She said, what do you mean you can't do it? You have finished the study. You were at the end. I said, the table of contents, I can't get it to
the little bitty. Went all
she said, Tamara, calm down. Send it to me. What I mean? And so she just pushed a button or did something,
fixed it.
And it was done. But had she not stepped in and helped me in that moment, that's so many people step away because they feel overwhelmed just in a moment, and they really don't have the clarity of how to finish. And so mentoring, stepping in, being able to offer someone a helping hand, say, I'll bring you the meatloaf, I'll take the kids for an hour, things like that really do help.
Right. And many times women may complete the coursework and get that portion completed and then stop and not actually go on to the dissertation piece. So we really want, to encourage women, to go on, go all the way
to finish
that dissertation, right? And, during that process, I guess you can maybe say that it's kind of like a rites of passage, or you have to kind of, jump over some hoops.
You do.
You really do, because
you absolutely do.
You may present your research, your material, and your professor may indicate, well, have you thought about this? Or why don't you go back and do a little more research in this area so you can kind of compare this with this. And you've already exhausted every
yourself,
area. Yes. But it's perfecting you. It's perfecting you. It's getting you to look at all different angles and all different aspects, and getting you to dig a little bit deeper. It just enhances your overall intellectual growth and development.
Yeah, I agree.
And mindset as well.
Yes.
Amazing.
I agree with that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't obedient.
Okay. You were not obedient.
I wasn't obedient. I stopped at my master's, and my mother said, "You should keep going." I said, "That thesis? Do you know that thesis? The dissertation is 5 times the thesis." I was like, "I'm done."
Well, if you ever decide that you want,
you guys here.
We're here for you. Yeah.
I wish you were there when I was 24 or 25 years old.
Absolutely.
You probably were. I just didn't know about you. And so, yes. So if you are considering getting your doctorate degree, am I pronouncing it right? I say Societas Docta.
Societas Docta.
Societas Docta Incorporated, SDI, is here to support you. They are here to support you. These are phenomenal women. I know some of them personally, and they have mentored me. Hey, shout out to Dr. March. Yes. Thank you so much for just being the women that you are and uplifting other women in the community. So they not only support women that are getting their doctorate degree, you all uplift women in the community that are doing work in the community, and there's a big event coming up. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay. The Nefertiti.
Yes, the Nefertiti
luncheon. And I'm going to yield to Dr. Mary because she is the seasoned SDI member. I was inducted in April of 2022. So this will be my first live Nefertiti. I am so excited, but I've had the task of getting the mentees together and making sure their pictures have been submitted and that they're continuing their education, and we're going to award some scholarships. So that's how I'll be participating, but I'll let Dr. Mary share some of the highlights. And
okay, the Nefertiti event is really one of the signature events of Societas Docta, and this is something that we do biannually, and it's exciting, and we are just really excited about it. We always have it to align with Women's History Month. So this year we're giving women an opportunity to share their stories, and we have some amazing and some outstanding and wonderful women that we will be highlighting. Actually 12 women that we will be highlighting from the greater Kansas City area in various fields, civic, business, education, higher education,
health, medical, administration,
religion. So we will be highlighting these women and the great contributions that they are making in the community and also in their various fields as well. And the Nefertiti luncheon will be held on Sunday, March the 19th at 2 o'clock at the Overland Park Marriott.
That's right.
And I will be there.
Yay.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, Dr. D'Angela Burns-Wallace, thank you. She's another friend of mine. So I will be there, and I'm excited. I've been before there to support my beautiful friend and sister, Senator Barbara Ann Washington. And so now I will be there to support the ladies this year. Mine was virtual, and it was still good. The pandemic didn't stop y'all. Y'all still put on a bad show. It was awesome. It was awesome. It was awesome. And so what I'm getting from here, from you all speaking, is just never give up. Never give up. And when you were saying you called your friend and said, I'm just going to quit, you know, the little bitty things is what makes us want to quit. You had done all of this work.
All of that work.
But don't let the straw break your back. Don't let the straw break your back. And if you feel that the straw is breaking your back, we all must have a circle of friends. And so that's what you all are. You're kind of like, I will help you not jump off the edge.
That's right.
You had to be, you know, talked off the edge. Like, you're just making a mountain out of this little molehill. You've already walked up the mountain.
Several times, you know, and just little tips of advice on how to approach coursework and how to go about collecting your references and how about, you know, storing for your literature review. They're just different tricks of the trade when you're pursuing a doctorate that you need to know that first year so that it keeps you from becoming overwhelmed. What I did not share when I was kind of talking a little bit about my journey is that I work, or maybe I work primarily with principals, assistant principals in this area. And being able to mentor them through my work, but then also individually, you know, as I'm led and connected to certain leaders who want a little more one-on-one mentoring, it's invaluable. You know, you can't even imagine the number of decisions that our school leaders have to make on a daily basis. And in this climate and, you know, post-pandemic, it is not easy.
It's challenging,
Yeah.
very challenging.
And
yes.
so I would say Dr. Mary and I both see that in our work, you know, with the teachers, with the administrators, they really are overwhelmed. And so being able to mentor them to just say, this too shall pass, or have you thought about doing it this way, or you know, reminding them of that work-life balance. Those things, they really do. They really do go a long way, and it's very important that you have those kinds of encouragements as you're going through your day.
That's beautiful.
And during our busyness, and we're all busy, that we still have to take time for self.
Right.
We have to take time for self.
You just, what a great segue
Yeah.
to ask you all the question about self-care. Now, that's a big buzzword. A lot of people flow it around, throw it around, but I have to be intentional as a servant, and you are servants. And so how do you intentionally take care of yourselves?
Yeah.
You have to plan. You have to plan to make it happen, because it's not going to happen. You have to plan to exercise. You have to plan to walk. Just as we have our planners and we put down what we're going to do for the day or you know, for the week, I think that we just have to just intentionally plan. I'm going to set aside 30 minutes a day for walking or exercising. And then it's something that we have to just make as a lifestyle.
Yes.
You know, to kind of think about what we eat.
Yes.
Drinking that water. And then also our attitude also has a lot you know, to do with our self-care and our health as well. So even though the physical part is really, really important, it's also, you know, what's on the inside as well.
Right.
Exactly.
That's important, because stress, you know,
Yeah.
stress can kill you. You know, if you have things built up, you know, over time, that's not healthy. You can eat right and exercise, but if you are harboring, you know, things, then that can really be detrimental as well.
This is so
Yeah,
true.
absolutely. You know, and I think to just also give yourself grace, because some days you have great intentions, you know,
I like that.
you're going to eat well, you're going to drink your water, and then at midnight you're having to stare down with a Snicker bar. And you're like, okay, now I really...
Yeah, sometimes you just have to just...
Sometimes you just
indulge.
have to, right.
You know, we're not perfect.
Right.
We're human.
Yeah.
But the intention
Absolutely.
is to try to eat right and exercise and drink water and do those things, that lifestyle,
Yeah.
so that we can be healthy to mentor and help others.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Exactly. For me, I am really big on taking a moment. And so I tell people all the time, and I may have said it on the show before, but I am booked 6 months at a time for my spa. So I book twice a year. I book in January and I book in June. So in January I book for 6 months, and in June I book for 6 months.
Okay.
Because if I don't put it on the calendar, it's not going to happen. There will always be something to take that space, and also with filling my cup. So you're constantly giving out, you're constantly mentoring, you're constantly pouring into other people in ministry and at work and in all of the things that you do. And so for me, I have to rise early every morning and fill my cup with the word and devotion and song and all of those things, because if I don't have a filled cup, I just can't run on empty. You know, and that's how we end up having nervous breakdowns and depression, and life is a lot. Life is a lot. Life is a lot. And so another tip that I do, and I love to share this one, is when I am at a red light. Red means stop. So when I'm driving and I'm at a red light, I do some deep breathing exercises.
Hmm.
And the proper way to breathe is with your mouth closed and then slowly with your mouth slightly open, and feel that oxygen go through your body. It is amazing. Just at the red light. And then I also do 7 praise pauses a day.
Okay.
7 praise pauses a day. So what are you grateful for? I opened up with thank you for my life. Everything may not be going this way, you know, the way that you want. Oh, today was a horrible day. I'm sorry, but I don't agree.
Yeah.
Because every day
You can find some positives.
you can find some positive.
Right.
Something may have happened that day that wasn't great or wasn't good. Granted, that's life. But if I would just implore everyone tuned in to change your perspective.
Yes.
Change your perspective to some horrible things happened today.
Yeah.
You know, some horrible things are happening every day all over the world. But it's still a great day that God has made, because we yet have another opportunity to count it all joy, that we still have breath in our body. And I think that perspective helps me with saying, oh, it's over. This is just, I'm quitting. I'm tired. You know, I'm tired. I don't have, I'm calling my husband, honey, can you bring home some eggs? I'm like, I don't have any groceries in the house. And he's looking at me like, what? And I'm like, my stuff is not, my slip is hanging. Help me, you know. So sometimes we get to those moments. But if we just stop, and my husband's answer is real simple: we can just go get something to eat. I mean, why are you tripping?
Well, and I think that you're making a beautiful point in that we often don't ask for help.
Right.
You ask for the eggs, right? And I ask for the, Lord, please let these ingredients for this meatloaf be.
Because the world is like, there's people in there that can help you.
That's right. There are people who are willing to help you.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think we waddle in our overwhelmedness, not realizing there's a solution, there's an answer, there's someone willing to help you. You just have to look around and be willing to ask for help. And it's not a sign of weakness. To say that you need help.
And I think for me, being a overachiever, and I assume, are you an overachiever? You're an achiever for sure, clearly. You're shaking your head, yes. So I don't want to just throw you in the basket with me, but that personality trait, we have to get it done. Our first option is us. Like, we don't even go by plan B. We think about plan B when we're melting down.
And we not only want to get it done,
but we want it done right.
Done right.
And nobody can do it like that.
And nobody can.
And we want to do it well.
It's like, seriously, get over yourself.
We want to make a difference.
Right. But there's people that will make a difference with us if they give us a chance. And I've been told over and over, you need to delegate. You need to delegate. You need to. And so I'm embracing delegation. So for those type A personalities, overachievers like Dr. Mary and Dr. Tamara.
I'm not quite type A, but I do
have that tendency.
I do have a control spirit sometimes. Because you know when you can weave it in, when you can get it done, and sometimes that's easier than delegating and having to wait on someone else's schedule. So it's really more that the time that you have to dedicate to it. But when you delegate it, you really need to take your hands off and allow that person to work it however he or she needs to do it. And sometimes that does not gel with your vision of when that's supposed to happen.
It takes
practice.
It does.
Some growing to
it
get to
does.
that point.
It does.
Because you want to kind of have the final, look, the final approval, the final, just to make sure that everything is
on the up and up.
Right. It's correct.
That's right.
It's done well.
Yeah, and that is sometimes I feel like for me, it could be a character flaw, because it's like, you gotta just let it flow sometimes, and I have to practice let it flow, don't trip, let it flow. It's really not brain surgery. It's okay. Nobody's gonna die from this. Just bring it down a notch. So I have to talk to myself, and so I think we have to talk to ourselves more and give ourselves grace.
We do. That's right.
Yeah. It's okay. Talk to me about a time in your lives where you already kind of shared one where the table of contents, you couldn't get that going. But maybe about someone that you're trying to mentor or help, and you're having to take them through this process.
Yeah.
About your mentoring skills, and how do you deal with that without, I don't know how you have to stay in a different parameter of not sharing certain things about yourself in the workplace, but how do you deal with, you know, helping a woman truly keep going? I mean, she's got all these things thrown at her, family and finances and just all these things, and she's trying to get this doctorate degree. And so sometimes you have to really get raw and transparent. How do you deal with that?
Well, you know, first of all, you have to really kind of, I would say, connect with the person and have that relationship, you know, with the person, and to the point that you can both, you know, communicate and collaborate and share and be honest. And as you develop that relationship, and they know that you really support them, and that you really care about them, and if there's something that you need to share with them, then they would be more receptive, I believe, to receive, you know, what you are sharing with them. But again, having that relationship is just so important. And then building that trust, you know, with that individual, and then letting them know that you care, and that, and then, you know, telling your story.
That's right, being transparent. That's just what I was going to say.
You know, I've
Sharing.
been there. I've experienced that. You can make it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And share maybe some mistakes or some things that I should have done differently, that maybe perhaps I didn't know, you know, at that particular time. And then share it, you know, with the next generation.
Yeah.
I love it.
I just agree with what you're saying. That relationship piece is so important. A young woman joined us for a church service today that I have the opportunity of mentoring in my work. And the message was just so timely for her, where she is in her professional journey. And, you know, my husband was reminding us of Paul and being shipwrecked and stay with the ship, you know, and trust the process. And it was just what she needed to hear. And so because we're in relationship with each other, after the service, I was able to look at her and say, don't get off the ship.
Wow.
You know, trust the process. And she was like, received, you know. And so that's that relationship that Dr. Mary is talking about. That connection has to go beyond the doctorate work.
Right.
The work is the work, but it really is, why are you doing all of this? How is this growing you? Who are you going to be able to benefit and bless because you accomplished this? This degree really has nothing to do with you, but it's how it's going to be used to
help somebody else.
And so when you can help, you know, as you're going through that journey, help to remind them that it has a greater purpose than what you even see in the academic piece of it. Then it becomes clear, and you're able to persevere, you know, and you want to reach that goal because you now realize others are dependent on me to get this degree. It's not just about me.
And that's our mission. That's part of our mission, Societas Docta. We help each other, and we support each other, and we have that mindset that we want others to do well and succeed, and that we want to help our mentees be successful and well. We want to give back, and many of the ladies in our Societas Docta, they are doing just that. They have made an indelible print in our community and in the lives of others due to the investment that we are pouring back into others and into the community as well.
Yeah. And as one of the newer members of SDI, I have found just that encouragement and that connection and being able to be part of an organization that has such a beautiful stamp in the community. I have just really been enriched by that. You know, iron sharpens iron.
Yes.
And so when you're around others who really have that mission and that commitment to see others grow, it's just a beautiful thing. So I have been embraced. I'm excited about the work that we'll be able to do with the mentees because the heart of the organization is really to uplift women, period, but then to support them specifically to accomplish their doctorate degrees.
Amazing.
Amazing. And I must give a shout out to our president,
Yeah.
Yes.
Dr. Jessie O. Kirksey.
Yes.
She is an
Amazing.
amazing woman.
Yes, she is.
She is an amazing woman.
Yes,
And,
she is.
She keeps us motivated.
Yeah.
She keeps us uplifted.
Mm-hmm.
She keeps us encouraged, and we
She
really
really does.
appreciate it. And we love Dr. Kirksey. She is a great woman.
Yes.
A great
Amazing.
woman.
I love it.
Absolutely.
I've met her and have been in her space. She's an amazing
She is.
inspiration. It's so much inspiration
Inspiration.
that I feel at this
Yeah.
table, just sitting with y'all. I'm
Right,
serious.
right.
It is, y'all don't know, I feel so good sitting next to them. And that's what it's about. That's what it's about. Your energy inspiring and lifting up other people. And I always say that your yes to God is directly connected to someone else's purpose.
Absolutely. I
So
believe
thank
that.
you for your
I
yes.
believe that. Yes.
Thank you for your yes. Thank you for not giving up.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for, didn't matter if you didn't have all the
I know,
ingredients
to the
to the meatloaf. just my mother survived. She used something else.
Yes,
you know,
that's right.
switch it out. You know.
Yeah.
But thank you for your yes. And if you're tuned in to KUAW, Kansas City's global community radio show with Jessica Lynn Speaks Live. My beautiful guests, Dr. Tamara Callahan and Dr. Mary McConell. They are powerful women of Societas Docta Incorporated, and they uplift women and inspire women that are getting their doctorate degree and help support them go all the way through to the finish line,
That's right.
all the way, because we can't stop.
Right.
And so the luncheon is coming up on March the 19th from 2 to 4 at the Marriott. Can they still get tickets, or is it sold out?
I believe the cutoff date is March
What?
the 10th. I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have till March the 10th. I'm going to be there, so I hope to greet you there.
Yeah.
March the 10th. You have till March the 10th to get your tickets. And is there a website they can go to get that?
Eventbrite. Could they reach out to you maybe?
Yes,
Yes.
I was
Provide
going
you
to
with the
say they can
information?
reach out to me.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
reach out to me.
Yeah.
You can reach out to me
Information, yes.
on Facebook, Jessica McClellan. Just reach out to me or the KUAW radio show, and we will get you the information to get your tickets. But the event is March the 19th from 2 to 4 at the Marriott.
Mhm.
And it's
Overland
going to be
Park.
amazing. Overland Park. We're going Overland Park, Kansas. We're going to be I didn't put myself in. We're going to be uplifting and inspiring women that have done great things in the community, and we're going to hear their stories. And the theme this year for Women's History Month is celebrating their stories.
Yes, right.
So we're going to be
Story.
celebrating,
Telling
your
our story.
stories.
Telling our story.
Telling your story. So
Yes.
they're going to be telling their stories, and it's going to be inspiring and uplifting. And if you are thinking about getting your doctorate degree, you must get in touch with me, and I'll put you in touch with them. All right,
Yes.
so that they can support you through the process. It is a process.
Yes.
It's a serious process.
It's a commitment.
It's a commitment.
It's a commitment, definitely.
Wow, I'm excited just to be sitting here with you all. There's so much that women have gone through for us to even get here to the place where we're celebrating our pigmentation.
Yes.
We're celebrating our melanin. We're celebrating and we're talking about diversity and inclusion. And to me, I think that it's important not to just talk about diversity and inclusion, but to be about diversity and inclusion. So in your workplace, in your experience, talk to me a little bit about your experience with being included.
Yeah. Well, and I'll just say this about SDI. One of the things that I feel is so beautiful about it is that we refer to each other as doctor. Dr. Tamara, Dr. Mary, Dr. Marsh, Dr. Jessie. And that's because even after we have acquired those degrees, in most spaces, we still are not recognized
Oh, wow.
with that through that professional lens. And so it can be discouraging, depending on what field you're in, to have done all of that work and still not be accepted as, a professional peer. But that does not matter. What we want, the message that we want to convey is that it is worth it. And just you holding that space gives someone else permission and confidence to be able to hold that space as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well said.
And I think one of the reasons why women of color
Mm-hmm.
have succeeded and excelled and done remarkable in different areas and different fields is because, we know or we knew that we had to really,
Yeah.
we had to overwork.
Overwork.
We had to really prove ourselves.
Mhm.
We really had to do excellent
Mhm.
in whatever our endeavor
Mhm.
might have been or might be. So we're hard workers.
Yes.
And we give it our best,
Mhm.
and we work hard at it.
Mm-hmm.
And like Dr. Tamara mentioned, many times may not be accepted or recognized because of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to know who we are.
That's
Good.
right.
We have to feel good about ourselves
Yeah.
and know
Good.
who we are.
That's good.
And just hold the bar up.
Mm.
And when we walk in that room, hold our head up.
Mm-hmm.
And we are somebody.
That's
Mhm.
right.
We are somebody.
Even if you don't think you have it
Right,
all together,
right,
just go ahead
Just
on.
go ahead
That's
on.
right. That's
And
right.
just do your thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
And
Yeah.
do it well.
yes.
And do it well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Because you just
Agreed.
never know who you are inspiring.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You never know who's watching you,
Yeah.
and what little one, what young woman,
Mhm.
what young man
Mm-hmm.
Right.
is getting from your diligence and from you
Right.
working your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Work your purpose with passion,
Yeah.
and if you put the two together, it's inevitable. It will be powerful.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And don't let a day go by without having some positive impact
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
on someone.
Mm.
It may be encouraging that person,
Mhm.
or or a hug,
A
or,
smile.
A smile.
Or
It's so
anything.
easy.
or
It's so easy.
writing them a note, or
Yes.
just something that
Yes.
we are leaving some sort of a positive imprint in the
Mhm.
life of someone every day. Every
Mhm.
day. It's not about us.
Right.
It's not about us.
Mhm.
Who can we encourage?
Mhm.
Who can we support? Who
Mhm.
can we help?
Mm-hmm.
Who
Mhm.
can we perhaps be an example to on this journey? I
Yeah.
think that's so important.
It is
So
important, and I think that that's just a measure of what purpose is. Because if you believe your purpose is just about you, then I would probably argue that's not your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Because we see purpose as our ability to really be able to bless others,
Mhm.
to help others.
Right. We're
And
to
as we
serve.
do, that's right.
We are to serve
That's
this
right.
present
That's
age.
right. That's right.
We are-
Our
yeah.
calling to fulfill.
Yes.
Yes.
Bring a word.
I
Dr.
love it. I love it.
Bring a
I
word.
love it. I love
Yes,
it. I love it. We all have
Yeah.
a purpose to minister.
That's right.
Now, whether we answer that or not,
That is true. That is
Mm.
true. And the thing about it is our natural talents, gifts, and abilities prepare us to do that.
Oh, yes.
We just have to go about being who we are naturally, and you just run right into your purpose.
If you
really
just
don't.
Important too.
Yeah.
Be who you are.
That's
That's
right.
good.
Don't try to be somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I love it.
Be who you are.
That's right.
And when you say don't try to be somebody else, what I feel is the biggest fallacy of the generation today is comparing themselves, especially women. We compare ourselves all the time. Sometimes subconsciously we compare ourselves, and then we have to realize that's what's happening. But for the young people, this here,
Yeah.
this is killing dreams.
Mhm.
Yes.
It's causing depression
Yes.
because they're looking on and they live on this thing. They live on this thing. This thing is, they compare themselves to others. Well, they have this, they have that. They compare themselves. And so that is something that I want to hear from. What can we do?
Yeah.
What can we do for these young people? And not even some young people. Some people are in their 50s. This
Yeah.
is killing their dreams
Right.
because they don't have this or they don't have that. Don't you know all of this here? This is not real.
Right.
It's not reality.
Right. That is
You-
true.
It's
You
not
know,
reality.
Yeah.
This it's I saw the craziest reality of a lady on here and said she had been following this lady. Now this lady's on social media and she's telling a story that she had been following someone that she just admired, right? She admired her and she had an opportunity to meet her and she wanted her to speak at her women's event. And she had seen this woman with, the houses and the cars and the clothing and everything, designer, and she's just like, oh, this woman, she would just be so powerful and such an influence, right?
Yeah.
Well, she got in touch with the woman told her, honey, I am broke.
Yeah.
All of that,
That's
I just
a
put that
made-up
on there.
upper chin
She,
profile.
she,
Wow.
she said that is all just for Facebook and for social media. And I'm like, wow, to even say that. Like, this person was like, she was telling the story. She was like, I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe it. So don't believe everything that you see.
That is true.
Right.
That is
You
true.
know.
I think it goes back to the relationship piece that Dr. Mary was talking about earlier. We cannot influence all of the YouTubers or TikTokers or whatever, but we can influence those that we have close relationship with. And we can't be afraid to tell them that's not real.
That's not real.
We cannot, be afraid to challenge them to invest in something that isn't real, that is real, and then show them the way. Because when we start speaking that and we're suggesting a change, there's an investment on our part that we have to kind of help them.
Yeah, how do I get
another
there?
way. That's
What are
right.
we gonna do?
So,
What are we gonna replace
That's
that
right.
with?
So that's what's going to
Yeah.
make the difference.
Show me
that
how to
we
get there.
invest,
Yeah.
that we
Yeah.
invest some time and energy into helping them see things differently.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
just like you said, you have to know who you are. You said it earlier.
Yes.
You have to know who you are and learning your strengths and knowing what your strengths are, knowing what your weaknesses are. I took an assessment early this morning about my leadership skills. It was like 177 questions, and then it puts you in these different frames.
Right. Uh-huh.
Personality and leadership and all of these things. And it was pretty on for the most part.
Okay.
For the most part, it was pretty much on. I didn't agree with some of the things, but they weren't bad. I thought they were actually pumped me up more than what I thought of myself.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So sometimes we're doing a greter work than we even really know. And so I would just encourage anyone to do the work. Do the work. Do the self-care work, the self-discovery work. Know who you are so that you can be on the right path and journey that you that you were created for.
Right.
And so many people, like I said earlier, I don't know my purpose. I don't know my purpose. It's directly connected to whatever your passion is. So if you're just tuning in, your purpose means something, and your purpose is directly connected to your passion, which also is not for you, like Dr. Tamara said, it's for somebody else. Had you not went through what you went through to get your doctorate, you wouldn't be helping that young lady in the way you're helping that visited your church today.
That's right.
Right?
Not in the same way at all.
Not in the same way.
That's right.
So
That's
we
right.
are impacting lives when we go through the journey. It's not always going to be smooth for children and getting a doctorate degree. Wow. I'm still stuck there. But just you had to have the perseverance. You had to have something inside of you that said, I'm going to finish this. I'm going to finish this. My kids are going to go on their field trips. I'm going to be at the field trips. I mean, you was the doctor, you was the nurse, you was the teacher, and all of this. And that's another question I had that left my mind, but now it's back. Teaching. Did both of you start out teaching in the classroom?
Yes.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah. You want to go?
Yes. Started out as a teacher, secondary, middle school, and then also taught high school.
Okay.
And a lot of lessons learned. A lot of lessons learned about students, the way they learn, how they interact, behavior. I mean, just all different types of experiences that you learn that help you to grow and develop, as an educator. So, wonderful experience.
So, paramount question. When you started out teaching, did you see yourself where you are now?
Oh, definitely not.
No.
When you first start out,
It's survival.
All right.
Yeah.
You survival mode.
It is survival. I
Yeah.
mean, you're learning.
Right.
It's a learning process for
Yeah.
you. You're
Right.
actually learning those first few years.
Oh, yeah.
But as
First
the
three.
years progress, you perfect your skill, just like with anything, because you learn through professional development. You learn a lot, from your students. You perfect your area of expertise and content,
Right.
your teaching practices. You begin to develop and build that repertoire of different strategies, things to do with students, what works. what doesn't work. You begin to look at the data.
Right, right.
You know, to see where students are, and then move with that, making those instructional decisions, you know, for the students. But back to your point, when you start out, that is the starting point. And 5 years down the road, 10 years, 15, 20 years, you should get better.
Right,
You should get better. You should stay at the same level as you started. You should progress and grow and learn. If not, something is wrong. Something is wrong.
Right, and so what you said was, would you have seen yourself where you are now when you started back then? I started as a speech language therapist. My bachelor's degree was in communication disorders. So I worked as a speech language therapist for several years before I recertified and went into the classroom. So my professional career was built primarily on the special education side of the house, and really became proficient in differentiated instruction and things like that. Worked as an assistant principal, and then I moved into the position of director of student support or special education. And in each step along the way, I was tagged for the next position.
Wow.
It was nothing that I was looking for. And see, that's another thing that we have to know about our journey. We may not, and you made me think of that when you said that assessment revealed there were some things about yourself that you really have not even
thought about,
noticed,
yeah.
or noticed. And so each part of those, when I, I was thinking about recertifying, it was somebody that tagged me and said, you'd be an excellent teacher for this.
Wow.
When I was ready to move into administration, it was somebody that tagged me and said, you're pretty good with managing discipline. Have you ever thought about doing this?
Wow.
When I, for each period around one, and even when I started to think about pursuing doctoral work, it was somebody that tagged me and said, you really should think about getting this terminal degree. I can see you working as a professor. I can see you influencing, other people, and I was able to do that.
So you just been empowered your whole journey.
Yeah, my whole journey, somebody else planted that seed for me.
Wow.
And so as we're working, I think we all have a destiny. It's all predestined, but we don't always see it. And so we're thankful for those who are along the way to help lead us to, our destiny. But
wow.
every step of the way. Yeah.
Wow, every step of the way.
Make this journey on our own.
That's right.
Yes.
Not by ourselves.
No.
There was always somebody.
Some
that gave us
influence,
that
a
push,
nudge
or
or
that
something.
encouragement.
That's right.
Or
That's
opened
right.
the door.
Yeah.
And all. So.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I say that that's always confirmation, because I can remember for each of those steps applying for grad school maybe. I'm thinking, I won't get in and I won't worry about it. You're in.
You're in. Oops.
Yeah,
you fell in.
Really
you gave yourself a try.
Yeah. For my doctorate work, there were so
Wow.
many applicants, and there was a very small cohort that was accepted.
Wow.
And so, I had to recognize that was part of that destiny for me.
Wow, this has been an amazing conversation. The time has gone by so fast. It's already 6 o'clock. Already. We're just having a good time. It's going so fast.
Yeah.
Listen, I want to thank you both for coming on. This has been a
It was great.
fruitful
Uh-huh.
conversation. And so thank you so much. Thank you so much for all you do for the community, for in your workplace, with your churches, and everything that you're doing with your YouTube. What is it, real quick? Your YouTube.
I do a weekly Sunday school lesson at a glance. Sunday school lesson at a glance on YouTube
Weekly. So if you go to YouTube and look up Sunday School Lesson at a Glance, you'll see Dr. Mary McConell talking about Sunday School Lesson at a Glance. Beautiful, beautiful.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Dr. Tamara Callahan, who is the First Lady of Second Baptist Church in Kansas City, Missouri on 39th Street.
That's right.
Yes, thank you so much for coming on. I would love to have you all back. Thank you, Kansas City and the global community, for tuning in to KUAW. Jessica Lynn Speaks Life. We'll be back on the third Sunday of the month. Happy Women's History Month, and be blessed.
Yeah.
Join us for the luncheon, March the 19th. Yes.
All right.
Be blessed.
Thank you.
Okay.